Hey everybody, how's it going? Icy Cat here. We're having a new change with the way deployable shields are going to be having in a future patch with the announcement that the official development team now considers placing deployable shields at 90-degree angles to windows to block them an official exploit. How did all this come to be? Let's talk about it next. So we've got a rather interesting chain of events here that lead to this final conclusion by the development team. First up is this post by fellow YouTuber Bikini Body. He's a lot of fun to watch, but he also makes some really good points in the community, and he generates a lot of discussion centered around things that are going on in the game. And one of them is this. He talks about how he was made aware of a post by official community manager Ubisoft regarding the shield glitch. A Redditor created a discussion thread asking if there's really still no fix for the window shield exploit, of course referring to the glitch where you can place a shield at 90 degrees to a windowsill, thereby blocking anybody from being able to vault through that window. Now, in most circumstances, they can still rappel into it, but you do wind up having many windows that you don't get that valid option to do so. And people will often say, well, it's completely valid. They do it in Pro League. You can chuck grenades in there and blow it up or hit it with an ash charge or something like that. But if you don't have an operator with a ranged explosive at hand, or if you've already used them, you're stuck. You are completely blocked out of that window. You can still shoot through it, but if you can't rappel into it, you don't get the option to vault through the sill because the shield is blocking your progress. And Ubisoft replies by saying it's not an exploit, it's a viable tactic. The shields can be dealt with relatively easily, you just need an explosive. And again, this is a viable tactic that has been used in Pro League matches, so it was not considered a cheat or an exploit. A few other YouTubers have been making some claims on why this has been an issue lately. MacyJ posted on Twitter that deployable shields shouldn't be more effective at blocking out the attackers than castle barricades in his honest opinion. Not only is Macy a really great player that understands the fundamentals of the game, but he brings up a really good point. Similarly, this was a topic I posted a little while back. You can see here that back on July 18th, I posted at Rainbow6Game, glad you found a way to fix deployable shield glitching to boost to unintended spots. Think you can do the same for 90-degree shields blocking window egress now. Love the concept of shields, but this unattended use just sucks and needs to be fixed. And of course, there's been other examples. We're not the only ones that have been talking about it, but it is something that's been sort of circling around for a bit now. So back to Bikini Body's write-up on this. He says that Zoro states that the shield when used sideways on windows works as intended, and this is the team's official statement on the exploit. He also mentions that even if it wasn't regarded as an intentional feature, there are currently multiple ways to deal with it in terms of explosives. But let me tell you why this is going about it in a very flawed way. First of all, let's compare the shield tactic to a castle barricade on a window. Not only can the barricade be meleeed, I will come back to this later, but it can also be dealt with using breaching charges, Ash, Sophia, Sledge, and frags. The shield can only be dealt with using frags or other ranged explosives. The only con is that people can shoot over the shield, but in terms of blocking entrance, the shield is already a lot better than an operator's primary gadget, and that's a problem. Let's go back to the fact that castle's barricades can be meleeed. The reason it can be meleeed is because if the case does not end up with your team carrying explosives, unlikely but not impossible, or if they've used them on other things already, the fact that the barricade can be meleeed allows the attackers to still have one way of opening that route, even if it takes time. The key thing here is that no matter what, castle can always in some way be dealt with. That is not the case with the shield exploit, which is why it's an exploit. You should never allow a secondary gadget in the game to force a side to pick a specific operator or secondary gadget to deal with it. The windows and doors should always be a way of getting entry if you cannot breach the walls, and that isn't the case with the shield glitch. It can't always be dealt with as just any operator. Just think of how insanely abusive Castle would be if his barricade had to be dealt with using anything but melee. Or what if we couldn't even melee regular barricades and had to breach them? Sounds crazy, right? And Castle barricades would still have more counters than a deployable shield. Combine this with the fact that sometimes fragging the shield doesn't even destroy it, and you have a very big problem. I don't care if the dev team don't consider the shield glitch an issue, the community does. There's no need to respond to "this is intentional" to something the community obviously does not want in the game. Please reconsider. As with most of the topics that Bikini Body brings up in the community, he does support his argument with some well laid out facts. Rainbow Six community developer Epi responded with the following. Hello, I just confirmed with our game director and designers that using a deployable shield to block entrance through a window is an undesired behavior for the deployable shield, and we are actively working on a fix. We do not have an ETA for when the fix will arrive. One fellow Redditor does say awesome, but why has it been allowed in Pro League then? To which he replies that the development team does not create the Pro League rules. I recommend asking ESL staff. So it is important to remember that ESL and the Rainbow dev team are actually separate entities. More than likely, this will wind up resulting in a rules change to ESL Pro League matches in the future as well. But we don't know exactly how that's all going to wind up playing out, other than that at this point the development team does consider it to be an unintended exploit for the use of the deployable shield, and they will be working on a patch at some undisclosed date in the future. So what do you guys think about this? Is this something you're glad to see fixed, or was this something that you like to do and feel it's a valid placement in the game? Let me know down in the comments below, or share with me over at IcyCat25 on either Facebook or Twitter. Now, I've also got some exciting news today about a crossover for Rainbow Six and Ghost Recon happening, so make sure you check out my video on that, and if you haven't already, please do like and subscribe. Make sure you click that notification icon so you're alerted as soon as I make new content available. Thanks a lot for watching, everybody. We'll see you next time.